However, there's going to be a lot of, there were some conflicting orders that we received both from federally and state. So this afternoon at 4:15, I have a call with the Surgeon General's office, and the governor's going to be on the call, and Secretary Mayhew, which is the head of the Agency for Healthcare Administration, and to get some clarity to the executive order that we received. So the executive order says that we are to allow general visitors in small numbers, only 2 at a time for each patient, and they are not to come into the patient care areas. So they will not be in the patient care areas, they will only be up front. We have figured out 8 spots, locations that are 6 feet apart from each other, that are not beyond the double doors. It will be by appointment only, so that means we're going to have to get the residents up, dressed, and out there to their appointments to be with their families. It'll be an hour at a time. We have to work around their therapy times, so it's very important that therapy be, and we know what their therapy times are as well. It's going to take a lot of coordination. And the resident is going to have to agree to meet with these individuals first. Also, these individuals, before they come into the building, are going to have to we're going to give them 1 set of PPE, and then they're going to need to wash it and come back with it. But we're going to, we will provide them with the long sleeve gowns that they'll wear, and then we'll wash them, and then they'll put them back on when they come back. We'll give them a shield, a face mask, and of course new gloves every single time. They also will have to be trained and take a test on infection control, proper hand washing, and PPE. So it's going to be a process, quite a process to get this train started and on the road. I'm sure all of you are going to have a lot of questions from families as time goes by. We have to put policies and procedures into place first, but first we have to get some clarity as to how this is going to happen. All right. Any questions so far?
So you can't touch them?
Well, that's what we're going to get clarity for or on from the Surgeon General. So it says social distancing, but the governor said on his talk that they're going to be able to touch them. So we have to get clarification. If they can't touch them, it's going to be with gloves and a gown on.
So that means we're going to be taking the test every week now?
So yes, so that's the other regulation that we had that came down, is that because our positivity rate in Lake County is 5.6%, that means that we have to test all staff and anybody who walks in the building, and that's another clarity point we have to get, because we possibly have to test all of these visitors if they come in the building every single week. Or they have to provide us with a test that they've already done every single week. So we are, starting next week, we're going to have to test on a weekly basis until the positivity rate in Lake County goes below 5%. After it goes below 5%, then we have to test for 2 more weeks to make sure the rate stays down under 5%. And then we can go to monthly on the federal side. Now on the state side, it's still required every 2 weeks. State side is still required every 2 weeks, and then we'll go back to our 2-week schedule. We are very fortunate that we're not in Sumter County. Sumter County is just a half mile up 466. Because Sumter County is over 10% positivity rate, and those facilities are required to test effective this week, twice a week. Twice a week. So before they even get the results back of the last test, they're going to have to do it again.
Was that as a result of the Quest Diagnostics loading up all those relays?
No. No, this is a standard recommendation for all.
I just heard that in the news.
And this rule does not only apply to us, it also applies to any institutional setting like prisons, group homes, assisted living facilities, so any residential type setting it applies to. But so any questions about that? Luckily, it just went into effect yesterday, so we're due to be tested next week anyway, so then we're within our guidelines, so we can start next week with that test. Okay. All right, but congratulations everybody, our latest COVID tests were completely negative. Everybody in the building, all employees, woo-hoo. We've also done a number of rapid tests. We have a new machine that gives us a rapid test result within 15 minutes. And all of those also came back negative. Good. So we are going to talk about QAPI. QAPI. What is QAPI? Can somebody tell me? Does somebody have an extra sheet? Do we have more? Are there more handouts?
Yes.
Where are they? Okay, right here. Give one to Carla. And they need some back over there, Mr. Over here, over here. All right, all right. Good. So quality assurance and performance improvement. What is that? Somebody tell me what that is. Does anybody know?
Quality assurance is making sure that everything is working according to order.
Perfect, yes.
And what's the second half of it?
Performance improvement.
Oh, that we get our act together and do better.
If it's
So
not working, how to
performance
fix
improvement is
it.
how do we improve on those processes? So quality assurance. So we have, so design and scope means that we have a quality assurance and performance improvement system within the facility. So that's the first step. These are the requirements by CMS that we have. These are the 5 elements that we are required to have by CMS. So the first is design and scope. So we have a quality assurance and performance improvement committee. They branch off into PIPs, performance improvement projects. And many of you have worked on PIPs, have participated in PIPs, given your input to performance improvement projects. Governance and leadership means that we have to do a buy-in, that we have policies and procedures that govern what we do and how we do it, and we look at it systematically. So when we're looking at a break in our system, or we have a problem with our system, we don't look at the individual doing the problem wrong or doing it right, incorrectly. We look at where the system broke down. How can we improve that system so that everybody can do it better next time? The next is feedback, data systems, and monitoring. So we have a monthly meeting and we collect all kinds of data. What kind of data do you think we collect? What do we collect?
Call lights.
What's that?
Call lights.
Call lights, we do. Calls, yes we do.
Grievances?
Grievances, yes we do.
Attendance.
Attendance, yes. What's that? Wounds, yep, acquired wounds, good. Good, good. You guys know what quality looks like. With all kinds of things. So number of in-house acquired infections, number of psychotropic drugs that we use. That's an indicator of poor quality. We use too many psychotropic drugs because that's considered a chemical restraint. If we use restraints, we would look at physical restraints, but we don't use those, so that's a good indicator. But there's a lot of things that we monitor. We monitor our referral system, our number of admissions, our number of discharges, our number of hospital readmissions, the number of the turnover, how much turnover we have in the facility in terms of employment. You know, how many people are leaving us, how many people left us last year, is it getting better, is it getting worse, which department is it located in, you know, which positions, so that we can see, you know, if something's going wrong on a kind of an early warning system. So what's a performance improvement project?
A plan of care?
Basically, yes, you're right. So if you have and so you form a committee and you have this, you figure out there's a problem. And in that problem, in that committee, you're going to figure out what is the problem? Is it something we can measure? What kinds of things, and then what kind of a goal are we going to set? Where would we like to be? If it's a problem now, where would we like to be tomorrow, or next week, or next month? Then then the committee does a root cause analysis to determine. So on the back of your paper, you have a root cause analysis. There's two different ways to do a root cause analysis.
The first one is why?
That's exactly right. But that's the second one on your sheet.
Sorry.
She knows. All right. She likes that part. So the why is like peeling back the onion. All right. So you've got somebody. So you figure out. All right. So you're driving down the road and you have an accident. So why did you have an accident? Because you were driving on the road? What else? Maybe, what's that? Okay, so maybe you were distracted while you were driving down the road, and why were you texting? And what were you doing? You were texting, and why were you texting? Because what? What did he say? He was drunk. Because he was drunk. Ah, oh my gosh. All right, so why was he drunk? So why was he drunk? He was at the bar too late, somebody to take his keys away, so you keep peeling back that onion. And then why was he at the bar in the first place? Because why? Because of work. Because of work, okay. All right. So maybe when you get to the root cause, he should change his job so he doesn't go to the bar, so he doesn't get drunk, so he doesn't text while he's drunk and drive while he's drunk and then have an accident. Okay? Did I get that right?
Just come and say that. Just don't drink.
Oh, okay. All right. So these are two different ways that we can do a root cause analysis. And what did I do? How did I put that piece of paper? Oh, you stole it. Look at that. And then the last part is the systematic analysis and systematic action. So somebody give me an example of a systematic change.
Systematic?
Yes.
Cardiac problems. Colon problems.
No. So in the facility. So you're looking at the human body systems. Let's look at facility systems. So what are some of our systems we have in the facility?
Computer programs.
Our computer programs, our point-click care, our Paylocity, our secure conversation.
Staffing.
What's that? Staffing, there you go. That's a systematic. What's that? Tells, that's right. Our meetings, yes. So communication, that's how the systems is how we do communication. So, alrighty. So if we changed one of those, so like in our orders, so we have batch orders in our orders, and we wanted to make a systematic change in our batch orders. Every time we ordered an air mattress, that we would also order a check on that air mattress every day, because we were afraid that maybe some air mattresses are going flat, and we don't know for another day or two that they've gone flat. So we have to do a check on them. So we put it on the EMR that the nurse checks every day to make sure the air mattress is inflated, and if not, then they should put it in TELS. Right? So that would be a systematic change. A systematic change should not rely on somebody remembering something or somebody learning something. It should also always be some kind of a visual cue or some kind of notation, because we can't remember everything, right? And what happens if I'm gone tomorrow, or Vicky's gone tomorrow, or Christina's gone tomorrow? Somebody else has got to carry on, right? Do our job, life goes on. So there's going to have to be systems that they'll have to continue. So the systems, so that when we are not here, somebody else can pick up from where you left off. And that's a systematic change. All right. So we want to divide into groups of 5. Or 6 or 7.
2 rows in there.
How are you going to communicate that to us without communicating
We don't see our patients when we walk in and we don't know what patients we have. We have plenty of patients that these can change. So, you know, you just throw one appointment in, or somebody's got a doctor's appointment or this or that. And that changes the whole schedule. So that's what we hard for us to
It's hard for us too because we have to do so many showers a day, which we go to ground. I don't know their routines. This guy likes it in the morning, but he can't tell me to take a shower. This guy doesn't want to do it that late, but then you guys are in therapy, and it's just, and this is the only time that you can have their time. That's why you have to shower. And that's the one thing I in the gratification.
Who's ready to share? I have an extra mic. Come on up.
I'll make my life easy too.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the problem that you were solving. Listen
So our problem was with therapy, knowing when weight-bearing statuses have changed from nursing. Like one of the therapists didn't know for like a week, his man went from being non-weight-bearing to toe touch weight-bearing. So Dee Dee said it would be good for the nurses when they change the order of weight-bearing statuses to bubble Peggy, the physical therapy director, so she can inform the therapist. Because it's a lot of times, even the CNA, sometimes we don't know when their statuses have changed. And they go from non-weight bearing to weight bearing. And we're still putting these people as non-weight bearing and they're allowed to stay.
Or they're weight bearing and then they give it non-weight.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
that is an issue. So then could they then put it in tasks maybe for the nurses when they go to, and when the weight bearing status changes, if they put it in tasks, it goes to your cardex, so then you can see that ahead of time.
Or like have an alert that there is something that has changed in their care.
I don't know if my system do that or not. I can ask them right now.
Because if there's not, we're not going to know unless they go through every single.
But when you take it out of the system, because in the system, it shows us when we chart if a person's weight bearing. It asks us, are we complying to the weight bearing status? So once it's done, they have to take it out the system. It'll no longer show us that.
That's true. That's true. So when they take it out, it'll go from weight bearing to non-weight bearing, or non-weight bearing to weight bearing. So it would have to alert you. So that means the nurses would have to send it to Carol and to Becky.
I can't hear you.
At all. So that means the nurses would have to bubble either both Peggy and Carol, so we can change it in tasks. And then we can also let Peggy know so that Peggy can let that particular therapist know that their weight bearing has changed. Yeah, so that would be good. Using our current systems, right? That's what we want, is something we don't have to rely on to remember how to use. Now, how are the nurses going to remember to do the bubbling when they get a change in weight bearing? So I think we need to make it a habit, probably with the nurses, that anytime anything changes, any kind of orders change, to think about who does this affect and to bubble whoever it is that it affects. It could affect a number of people. We also read the orders. The unit managers read the orders every day. So when they see the orders, or when Mary Alice sees the orders, to make sure to flag that type of thing when somebody needs to know about it. Because that would be a double check. So any kind of system, we want somebody who does it, somebody who checks it, and somebody who QAs it. That's a tight system. It's a system we need to do. Okay, so who's next? Okay, all right. Back here, this corner? Oh, you just went, that's right. This one.
You got someone behind you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you guys.
We did ours on portable tanks and proper storage areas. So the issue was that we're noticing that there's a lot of tanks that are empty, that are stored in the utility that's supposed to be for full tanks or half full tanks. So when somebody needs oxygen, they go in there and they're pulling empty tanks instead of pulling full tanks of oxygen.
Yeah, so they lazy.
So someone who does it, everyone should be going in there and get the oxygen and bring it to where they need it to go. The person that checks it should be the unit manager or the floor nurse to go make sure that the oxygen room has adequate oxygen, that their oxygen is either full or half full, and then also checking the rooms of patients that have oxygen, which they should have an oxygen rate tag on the outside of the door. And then the person that they opted to QA it is the risk manager.
So what's the root cause as to why empty tanks end up with a full tank?
The root cause, one of the things we identified was the rollators not being in place.
So the rollators, where are they usually?
Either in another area, part of the building, or in a patient's room, or sitting out in a little storage area.
Or in the empty tanks, they leave them there.
Are they with the empty tanks?
Yes.
So they're rolling them into the empty tanks, but they don't bring the cart back over here.
Yeah, because they're lazy.
Okay.
So they're on the
So
short
when you
process.
find somebody walking around with a full oxygen tank without a carrier,
Oh, that's
or grabbing an oxygen that's empty because somebody put an empty tank in the full tank.
And unfortunately, we can't put these any closer together because there's regulations that say where the full tanks can go and where the empty tanks can go and how many can be in each location. So we can't change, we've tried that. We tried to change the location. Does everybody know where the full tanks go? Full tanks, where are they? There. And where do the empty tanks go? Okay, so when you bring an empty tank over there, you should put it in the rack and bring the cart back, right?
They should, but they don't.
We have a number of them that are broken right now. They're in the fix-it place. They're coming back.
So some of the ways we identified to fix the issue is to count how many rollators we have to make sure we have adequate rollators, which I also know that we just ordered some not too long ago.
Did we?
God, we did. And then also maybe do a burn rate to see how much oxygen we're utilizing on each unit. And then a check-off sheet to monitor that they're checking the oxygen, just like how they check the crash cart every day.
Okay.
And then in-service to educate the staff.
What we gonna do?
And then check the O2 levels in the rooms to make sure that's adequate. So they don't run out before. But they should be utilizing the commercial areas as much as possible.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Also, when they bring patients in, 11, whoever it is, it's not enough portable tanks for the concentrator. They dragging in the O2 tank itself, sit them in the room, come in the next one, because it just happened to be the patient is in distress because no oxygen because they're not checking the tank. They don't have a concentrator to hook them up. They just grab the first thing they see, hook them up, and don't check it and all that.
They don't put it on a
Those tanks are only good for like a few
But
hours.
that's what I'm saying. They don't check it. When the patient was in distress, they call the nurse. No oxygen to them. No oxygen at all.
There's been a couple times where I found
So that could be something that the admissions nurse can double check and make sure that they put on an oxygen concentrator rather than a tank.
But one of the issues that we have just like with seeing how much O2 we have in tanks in the building, we need to really check and see how many oxygen concentrators we have in the building.
Now, a lot of times when they're beeping, it's because the line is pinched. So then when Leon takes them out there to try to fix them, they actually work.
Right.
So just check the line, the pinched lines on the oxygen concentrators.
But we also need to make sure how many do we have actually have in the building.
And I could not find anything. I had to use regular oxygen, and then Amanda found one somewhere in a corner somewhere that was in an
Yeah, you have to look because they end up being in all the alcoves.
Yeah, well, that's time consuming.
It is, it's very time consuming. So if you have a room, in your rooms, if you have a concentrator in the room that's in the alcove that's not being used, push it out. Push it into the soil utility room so housekeeping can wash it, and then they will wash it down, they'll bag it, and they'll put it in where it belongs so that we can find it.
Or with housekeeping clean, have them roll it out.
I mean, I went into a room just Monday morning, and there was a room with 3 oxygen concentrators in the alcove. They all worked. Okay. Taylor? Or were you tagging on with Jamie?
The problem we chose was like medication with new medicines, and not always are they simple.
We can't hear you.
Sorry, is this better? The problem we chose was lack of narcotic pain medication and new admissions. Why does this occur? Because no hard script is sent or faxed to the facility when the admission comes. Why is that? Because the DNA hospital doesn't provide it. Why is that? Because nursing doesn't make a request, because it's not really their job to do everything, but they're usually more than happy to provide a script if we ask. And why isn't the request made is because the floor nurse and the admitting nurse are usually 2 different people, which is great. We love having an admission nurse. And
Yeah, we're great.
so whoever sees the orders and notices a narcotic pain medication, if it turns out that the script wasn't sent in the packet, then we're SOL, especially. Can I say that? Sorry, especially if it's 9:30 at night.
At least you said SOL.
We're sheer out of luck. That's what that means. And so.
Are there certain doctors that you can get pain scripts from, that you can get scripts from, of our doctors later in the evening?
Sometimes I have to shop around.
Okay. Well, if you tell us who you can rely on, you can tell them and then we can give those patients to that doctor.
Okay.
Because these doctors are always looking for additional patients and always pushing data for more patients. So that can be a point of sale for them.
Cool.
Yeah, because some of the physicians do not want to write the script if they have not seen the patient.
And that's common. And some of them are willing to. So whichever ones are willing to, let us know, and they will be the ones that get those types of
As soon as
patients.
the patient changes hands, like from one doctor to another, they
Well, why isn't the transferring hospital not sending a pain script? Is it
actually the
because
systematic
we're
change
not
there.
asking, or they're not addressing it at discharge?
We ask it everybody that writes the script is asked for.
Because when I used to do it from that end, I always made sure there was, Vicky always said, make sure my pain scripts are in there, you know?
And we still try to do that, but you know, there's doctors that don't. And Ocala is.
But in mercy, even the case management are at the mercy of the physician, because the physician is the one who has to sign that letter. So if they don't do it for them.
So if you tell me who it is, or maybe I can address it with all of our practitioners and see who's willing.
It's mostly the hospital.
I know it is the hospital that doesn't send it. But I'm saying right, exactly, but for the deficit, because I don't think we're gonna fix all the 7 hospitals we get patients from. But we could train one of our doctors to do it.
Have somebody who's like a designated.
Who's able to, and will write scripts and send it in. Hey! Your things here. Who's next? Who's next? Are you following through on your own action plan?
I guess I am now.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Katrina.
We came up with a non-productive coworker. We have to first build a relationship with that coworker.
A non-productive coworker.
Also,
We don't have any of those.
What?
you talk with that coworker.
Okay, so the number one, so she's going to build a relationship with this coworker so that then she can ask this coworker some questions.
Yes. And then, if there's something that you can help that coworker with, help that coworker.
Yeah.
And then also come up with a plan of action with that coworker. We're all a family here.
That's right.
And you treat the next person the way you want to be treated.
So you sit down and you talk to them, you figure out what's going on, you
Yes.
offer them your help first before you ask them, why aren't you helping me? What is that song? What have you done for me lately? Is that song?
Janet Jackson?
No, we don't want to do that. So we ask them what we can do for them first, and then we set up a plan of action. So okay, so if you're struggling through this, I'm struggling through this, I do this and you do that. Okay?
Yeah.
But we also
Good job,
to
Katrina.
help each other, but not to do your work all day long.
Yeah.
You have to do your own work. If you need help, we don't mind helping, but we're not here to do your work for you.
So that's why you set up that action plan that says, I'll help you with this and you help me with that. It's a equal back and forth, right? But it's a conversation. It's a conversation. You first you offer, then you set up the action plan, and then you follow through. It's a conversation. And then if it doesn't happen, then what do?
You come to you, give up.
No, then you talk to them. Of course, again, and again, and again, and again.
Because you don't know what the coworker is going through.
Yeah, but they give you these attitudes that you can't, it's like going back and forth. They think you're trying to tell them what to do.
So if you have a problem though, if you come in, sometimes you have attitude too, right? Because it might be something going on at home, or maybe somebody ran you off the road on your way into work, or you ran into Troy who was driving drunk.
He's in the bar, I don't know where he is now.
He ended up back in the bar. We didn't give up his name.
We just went on there to get that. Now I got
Huh? He ended up at Wawa. I don't think there's any alcohol. Maybe there is.
Yeah, it's alcohol,
my
yeah.
dad was just waiting for me to order.
Okay.
Shut up.
Oh, it's after lunch. That's what it is. Okay, you can't drink before lunch. All right, good job, Katrina.
Yay, Miss Katrina!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see, who's next? Do what you tell her to do. Oh, what is this? Oh, okay.
Silly than these other ones, but, not all the time, but the majority of the time, my group says there's toilet paper in the bathroom.
No toilet paper in the bathroom. No toilet paper in the bathroom. This is called COVID times.
So we're supposed to be doing housekeeping is limited to the amount of rolls that they can put out because of the pandemic shortage of toilet paper. Because people are stealing it from bathrooms. So now we don't care, we no longer have a pandemic shortage of toilet paper. It's all over Walmart. So we feel that housekeeping can put out more toilet paper.
Well, y'all had it today. Y'all had it. This a pad to be right here.
Boy, I tell you what.
All right, who's left?
I'm just gonna say, or have them put the next them like in our.
Well, they usually put them up above the paper towels. Yeah. So you guys can start putting extra out. That's a good plan. What else? Anybody else? All right, thank you.